公民总主笔。
Welcome to Residence Messenger Program on Taipei Broadcasting Station. I'm your host, Ross Darrell Feinberg. Today, our guest is Hazel, the tattoo artist from Chowder Ink Tattoo Studio. Hazel, welcome to the show.
Hi, I'm Hazel.
So happy to have you. And before we continue, Hazel, I just want to make sure you didn't bring your equipment with you today, so you're not going to surprise tattoo me while we're recording the show, are you? You know, if I turn my head, you're not going to come after me with your equipment.
Well, no, but after this interview, you can come to my...
I could come by and get some tattoos. Maybe I'll get the radio station logo if you could make that one into a tattoo.
I will give you a discount.
Thank you, thank you. Before we talk about your work as a tattoo artist here in Taipei, Hazel, tell us a little bit about yourself. Which part of Taiwan did you grow up?
I grew up in Banqiao, New Taipei City.
Okay, so you're a city person.
Yeah, I think so.
And when you were a child, did you have an interest or exposure to artistic things? Did you like to draw, for example, when you were a child?
Well, I read a lot of manga and animation, cartoons throughout my childhood. My cousin had a lot of manga books, so it's lucky to have him to discuss.
Did you start drawing what you were reading at the time? Did you doodle around and draw for fun?
Yeah, I drew a lot of characters.
Did you save those? And are they inspirations for tattoos now?
It's a long time ago.
Well, you're still young, Hazel. But what about more formally? For example, when you were in school, did you take art classes? And I mean, when you were a child, when you were in primary school, junior high school, did you have opportunity to more formally train as an artist?
No, when I was a kid, but I studied art school from 10th to 12th grades.
Mm-hmm.
It's art high school. So it's luckily I do the right choice to make it to graduate the art school.
So no history or science and all that boring stuff, just a lot of art when you were in high school?
Yeah, a lot of art project, and we have to do this serious graduation open house.
And what was your project for the open house? Do you remember?
Well, I think so. It's 海平面上升. We do it like it's a warning for everyone. Like you have to prepare your own bottle for water, and like no littering. So I think it's the subject of our open house.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you a very personal question. When you were in that phase of your life, high school, did you get any tattoos back then?
No, I only got my first tattoo when I was like 20 years old.
Okay, so that's probably a good chance to ask. Do you have a rule in your tattoo shop? Below a certain age, you won't do a tattoo. Yes, for example, if an 18-year-old walks in, you'll give him a tattoo. But if a 17-year-old or a 16-year-old, you'll say no, sorry, come back in a year or two.
Yeah, I actually don't do under 20.
Under 20, really? So an 18 or a 19-year-old that you don't think they're mature enough to make that decision?
Well, I'm pretty sure that you won't make a right decision when you were like 18 or 19.
Yeah, I remember I made a lot of wrong. I'm still making wrong decisions, even though I'm getting close to 50. But well, that's interesting because a lot of places around the world, not Taiwan, but a lot of places around the world, 18 is kind of the age where we say somebody's an adult. But Taiwan, for a lot of things, actually, it's 20 years old. So you're just being consistent with that.
Yeah, we can drink, we can smoke.
When you're 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't vote until you're 20, right?
No, yeah.
So you say, okay, if you can't vote, you can't get a tattoo. That's the rule at Chowder.
Yes, that's the rule.
What about other tattoo artists around Taipei? Well, is it common that other tattoo artists they'll do a tattoo for a 19-year-old or an 18-year-old?
Well, I guess there are like more tattoo artists. They do tattoos for under like 20s.
So when you were 20 and you got that first tattoo, was that the moment when you said to yourself, while you were watching the tattoo artist put the tattoo on, is that when you said to yourself, one day I want to do this. I want to open, this is so cool. I want to open my own tattoo studio.
Well, kind of, but when I got this first tattoo, it's only because that's cool.
Yeah, you want to tell us what it is?
It's a sun in a box.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was this your own design?
No, not. I told my tattoo artist that I want a sun in a box, and the sun should be like realistic.
Mm-hmm. And
So
they came up with the design.
Yeah.
And you were happy with it?
Yeah.
What happens when people aren't happy with the tattoo artist? Well, we'll talk about that later. but when you were still a very young person, you spent some time in Australia as well. Was that a working holiday?
Yeah, it was. For me, it's a vacation from going back to my tattoo career, like my field. So I had a good time there.
How long were you there?
A year and a half.
And what kind of work did you do?
Well, slaughterhouse.
Wow, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I hope you don't use those slaughtering skills on when you're doing
clients.
the tattoos. Yeah.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you don't want to be
Or
too rough
maybe-
with that. Wait, did you get to tattoo the animals? Like were you working with cows where they have to put the in English
Like
we call
stamp?
the stamp, we call it branding, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, did you do that?
No.
Because that would have been good practice for the tattooing on humans, right?
Yeah. But no, actually just like cutting hearts and like cutting livers and stuff.
Well, that must have been very stressful work.
Well, stressful, yeah.
Especially for the animals.
Yeah. In the first week, it's kind of scary and bloody, and their blood and like some liquid just spill on your whole body when you got home, like blood on your face. That kind of terrified me for a couple weeks, and then I just got used to it.
Yeah, it's a job. It's an assembly line. The products are moving by pretty quickly. It all happens so fast anyway, right? So not only are you good with the needles and the things you use to apply the tattoo ink, you're also good with knives as well.
Well, I would say yeah.
What besides cutting up the animal parts, what else did you enjoy about being in Australia?
Well, I think meeting new friends from different countries and different cultures, that can really open my heart.
Was that a joke because you said you were cutting out the
No,
animal parts in the slaughterhouse?
No, it's true.
Did you think about staying in Australia or overseas long term or even permanently, or did you have a great desire to come back home to Taiwan?
I had this great desire to come back home because I want to start my career. And actually, I thought of staying in California when I visited my mom after leaving Australia, but just like one moment. But maybe I will move to somewhere else eventually.
What did you observe about tattoos when you were in Australia? Was there something different or special, unique about tattoos that people in Australia have compared to Taiwan, or the way tattoo artists do their job in Australia versus in Taiwan?
I never got any tattoo in Australia, so I didn't know much information about it, but the place definitely provide or inspired a lot of design ideas.
Can you give us some examples? What kind of tattoos did Australia or living in Australia inspire in you?
I think the place I have stayed called Double, and then I moved to Melbourne. They have lots of different kind of like old school tattoos, and it's pretty cool. And I was young, and I like, hey, maybe one day I will do this kind of tattoo.
And speaking of one day, you came back to Taiwan, and you decided to make this into a business, a career for yourself. What kind of reaction did you get from friends or family when you said, I'm going to focus on this. I'm going to make this into a career? And did people say, why can't you just get a job in an office like everyone else?
I think in the beginning, I told my friends and my family that I really want to do the tattoo, and my friends supported me, but my family didn't support me as my friend did. We have this argument. They say, "Hey Hazel, you should like go back to do your graphic design job. Like, it's steady and normal, so you don't
like
have
I said,
to
working in an office or like everyone else."
So then we don't talk in like 6 months.
But eventually they came to accept that you're going to be a professional tattoo artist.
Yeah, they're fine now, but sometimes they bring up the subject.
Well, family are like that. They're just looking out for you. They want what's best, right?
I know.
What were the challenges though when you wanted to start doing this as a business? Was it the costs involved? Your cost of equipment, finding clients. What are some of the challenges you had?
The challenge, I think, in the beginning of my career, I got reactions like, "What kind of person will get your tattoos? Or would anyone want your tattoo?"
Why would people say such a thing? I mean, don't they just need to look at your artwork and either people like it or they don't like it?
Yeah, because I think some of my artwork, they don't really understand it.
Well, like any artist, it takes time for the public to understand what the artist is.
Yeah, it takes time for people to really like new or totally different style of artwork. So I think it's okay for me.
What about finding clients? How did you do that at the beginning?
Yeah.
I mean, now of course you're established. People, word of mouth, right? People who visited you will tell their friends, and word will spread about you. But what about at the beginning?
I think attracting clients can be hard in the last few years because there are more and more tattoo artists now. So you have to make your design unique.
Distinguish yourself.
Yeah, so people will see your work and they will know this is you. It's your character.
So the first period when you were operating your tattoo studio, did anything unexpected happen? Did people come in and ask for really strange designs or things that you didn't ever expect would occur in running this kind of business? Yeah, because you thought you would just do tattoos, right? People would get a tattoo, they'd leave very happy. So what kind of other unexpected things happened when you were just starting out?
Unexpected? I don't really have a client that requires a weird design, but here's the thing. My auntie came and had this consultation with me.
She wanted a tattoo.
She wanted a tattoo. And the tattoo that she wanted to be commemorate her relationship, the end of the relationship between her and my uncle. Well, they are still married.
So she was giving you a preview that the relationship was about to end?
Yeah. I was like, what? Really?
So did you do it for her?
Yeah.
So there's no moral hesitation about doing tattoos on family members?
Well,
because doctors, they shouldn't operate on family members, right?
I kept asking her, you sure really? I can do that, but you have to be sure. I don't want to ruin your life and your husband's life. And she was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Did the uncle find out that you're the one who did the tattoo?
I don't know. I didn't ask him.
Yeah.
Well, they got divorced after the tattoo is done. Sorry, uncle.
So well, maybe you could call him up and recommend that he get his own tattoo to commemorate the end of the relationship. Well, so they're matching.
Uncle, call me.
who are the customers? Right? Who gets a tattoo? You said your auntie, which was very, I mean, for me, that's unexpected, but who gets tattoos in Taiwan in 2020 or as soon as it can be 2021?
Yeah.
Who's a typical customer?
Like in my tattoo shop? I think it's typically age of 24 to 35. And they mostly queers. Really?
Well, what about, see, I thought you were going to say something like, it's actually people who work in offices, doctors, lawyers. They just want a secret tattoo because they want to feel that they're really living life, but they don't want anyone to know about it. So they come and get a tattoo. They're really very serious people. They're wearing business suits all the time, but under the suit, they have a tattoo.
Well, yeah, I did have some clients that are doctors and nurses and teachers. Once there's a client that requires a naked woman tattoo from me, and she's like, I really want this tattoo, but I don't know where the placement to get it on because I teach kids every day and they might like take my shirt.
Oh, they might like tug on her shirt,
yeah,
pull
yeah,
on her
yeah,
shirt.
yeah,
Sure, especially if she's teaching kids. Yeah.
Yeah, but then we didn't do it.
She got scared. She decided not to do it.
She's too afraid.
She chickened out.
Yeah.
Well, maybe she'll come back. Speaking of coming back, we're going to take a short break, and after we take this break, we'll come back and talk some more with Hazel from Chowder Ink Tattoo Shop. You're listening to Residence Messenger on Taipei Broadcasting Station. Welcome back to Residence Messenger on Taipei Broadcasting Station. Our guest today is Hazel from Chowder Ink. Hazel is one of Taipei's up-and-coming tattoo artists. So we're very happy that she took some time from tattooing the customers to come to the show. Before the break, you were giving us an example of a professional person, a teacher who wanted a tattoo, but she had this challenge about where to put it because the kids and the parents might see it, and they usually don't want their teachers to have tattoos, even though this is becoming more and more normal. You said she wanted a tattoo of a naked lady.
Yeah.
Is it typical for the customers to come with their own designs, or do they often tell you a concept, an idea, but then they expect you to actually come up with a design?
Well, mostly my clients just pick one of my tattoo flash.
Okay, so you have a book of designs that people could pick.
So the naked lady is one of my tattoo flash.
Oh, so you do have a standard naked lady design. So that would be the same naked lady for anyone who wants a tattoo, or could you adjust a little bit for this naked lady?
I would.
Yeah. So would it be fair to say that even if a customer picks one of your standard existing designs, you'll always adjust it a bit so every tattoo is unique, or are there 10 or 20 people walking around Taipei with the same tattoo from Hazel?
No. Once they pick the design from my tattoo flash, the design is no longer available to anyone else. Okay, so one flash for one customer, then it's gone forever. Yeah. Wow. So then you constantly have to come up with new designs to offer a customer. So you spend a lot of time when you're not actually doing tattoos, coming up with new designs. Yeah, it drew me out. But people do come in with their own designs, correct? Yeah. And is it easy to make that into a tattoo if someone comes in with a cartoon character or some other image, a flag, or any type of idea that they have? Is it easy to turn these things into a tattoo? I think some part of it, no. You have to think this part of design can really fit into a tattoo. And is that something that the customers, because they're not the artist, you're the artist, they don't always realize when they come with a design and say, Hazel, do this, put this on my body. Do they sometimes not appreciate that it's not as easy as they might think? Or do they learn? Do you have to explain that to them? I don't really want to say it, but yeah. They always like came to my studio and say, like, I really want this, put this on me. And I was like, okay, we have to do this small adjustment to make it available on your skin. Mm-hmm. And they were like, no, I want exactly the same tattoo, like the design, but it's not gonna work out. So they're like, nah, I would just like find another.
Go to a different tattoo artist. Do they ever come back and show you what they got after that?
No, no, not once.
Do customers typically ask for a lot of colors inside a tattoo, or do people tend to really just have the outline of a design, but not really use a lot of yellows, reds, make it bright? What do customers tend to prefer?
My client preferred black work, like line work with some like color. I don't really have colored tattoos.
Well, why is that?
Because it's my own style of tattoo flash is mostly black.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is it a lot more work also then if you want to add, if a customer wants the color, it takes a lot more time as well.
Yeah, but it's available to do this adjustment.
Let's be honest here, Hazel. How painful is it for people who are listening to the show who've never gotten a tattoo and maybe they have a lot of reasons not getting it, and the obvious ones would be like the example you used of the teacher who's afraid that the students or the parents might see it. I'm sure a lot of people who want to get tattoos are worried that it's going to be painful as well. So be honest, how painful is it?
It depends on your placement. I have this friend we knew since the middle school, and he called me and he said, I want this calligraphy tattoo on my side of ribs. Okay. And I was like, wow, it's gonna be really painful. Are you ready for that? And he was like, can I shout during the session? Like, yeah. And so for the first session with him, when I just tattooing, he was like, like this kind of sound. But then he just held it for like 2 hours, and then he just like, no, maybe next time. So we like done the session, and like before 2 hours, we have to do this session for 4 hours. So we finish earlier.
But he survived, right?
I think so.
Even though it was in a painful location to put on the tattoo. Well, in that situation, why wouldn't you just tell him, that's really not a good place to get a tattoo?
Well, he kind of insisted.
So the customer's always right.
Yeah.
So, but let's go back to that example of the naked lady, and you said the customer is always right. Is there any designs where you would tell the customer, no, I absolutely will not tattoo that design on you? If it's something that, for example, you think is offensive, or you're afraid that other people might find think it's offensive?
Well, I'm pretty open-minded, but only if it's racism, xenophobia, or homophobia, genderphobia. The others I will be fine.
Yeah. So xenophobia, homophobia, you won't do. I can't imagine anyone would come in and ask for a homophobic tattoo now.
Well, if there's a straight person come to my studio and say, I want this tattoo, the calligraphy says, I hate gays.
Obviously, you wouldn't do that.
I would like, I would probably do that, but
really,
let me know your story.
or would you intentionally get it wrong? Yeah, I trust you wouldn't intentionally get a tattoo wrong, even on a person like that.
Yeah.
Speaking of wrong tattoos or weird tattoos, because I'm so excited to meet a real tattoo artist, so I have to ask this question as well. Those American basketball players who get the tattoos with the zhongwenzi, that makes absolutely no sense. You're a native speaker. I speak Mandarin as well. We look at these things and it makes no sense. Why did they do that? Or what's the view from a professional like you when you see that? If you're watching a game and there's this 7-foot basketball player with a bunch of Chinese character tattoos, it makes no sense.
I actually saw a lot of that kind of tattoo in Australia.
And did you ever go up to the person and ask him, like, do you know that this makes no sense?
Yeah, I there's one guy who works in the same slaughterhouse with me, and he's Australian, and he got like 家人第一, like family first. I was like, hey, do you know the meaning of your tattoo? Like, yeah, family first. I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah, but that's not the way you would say it in Mandarin, right? There's probably something a little more poetic than
poetic.
Yeah.
But well, he likes it.
Were the characters drawn correctly, accurately, the Chinese characters? Or they look a little odd to you as well?
Well, it's right, but he is really like one wonder.
So it was a bit off. The angle wasn't.
It wasn't right.
So did you tell him, or you didn't want to break his heart?
No. I would definitely no.
Did you offer to tattoo some real Chinese characters on his body?
Well, for now, yeah.
Yeah, this is always weird when I see those basketball players. I have to get the truth. I mean, why do they do that? Any idea?
I think some people in Taiwan, they do the same way too.
Foreigners.
Yeah. No. Taiwanese people, they have these English like sentence or characters.
Which makes no sense to native speakers.
Yeah. I can't bring up an example, but yeah, it's the same.
Well, hopefully, if a customer asks you for that, you'll say no. Which brings me to my next question, Hazel. Some people get tattoos, and then a few years later, they change their mind. They regret. Do you get customers who come in and say, "I have this tattoo. I don't like it anymore. I want to do something about it"?
No, but there's an exception for like if my client want to change the tattoo or remove it, I will tell them to go somebody else. But if they want to like add on, so we can discuss some new ideas to add some new elements to the tattoo.
Well, what if someone came into your tattoo shop and said, "Yeah, I have this tattoo. I don't like it anymore. Can you add to it to make it something different so I don't have to look at this ugly? I decided I don't like it anymore. It's ugly, but it's on my body. Can you work with an existing tattoo to change it to something different?"
Yeah, it's called cover up. Yeah, so we take a photo of their tattoos and then we redesign it. So we show them the new design, and if they are okay with it, we do a session. So
you've done that for customers. You've done this cover up. And what are the reasons why people typically come in and ask for the cover up? They just decide they don't like it, or is there some other reason?
Well, people got stupid tattoos all the time.
Like what? Give us an example.
Like their ex's name, or portraits, or some nonsense English sentence.
And you could cover all those up.
Yeah.
Even a sentence you could cover. That's kind of long, right? If it's 3 or 4 words, 5 words.
Well, it might be like 7 to 8 centimeters long, so it's not that difficult.
So how do you cover up an ex's name? What do you typically do to cover that up?
Some color blocks and like geographic designs.
So you'll turn someone's name into like the island of Taiwan or something?
Probably.
If someone needs to sit in your chair and get a tattoo, you mentioned before 2 to 4 hours for the big tattoo.
Yeah.
What's the average tattoo time though? How long does it cost? For most designs that people request, where they're not getting their whole body tattooed like a gangster, right? So they're getting small things like a sun or a cartoon character. How long are they typically sitting there?
Well, it's really hard to say because the big tattoo, we do the separations. We do one session for 4 hours and the second session for 4 hours too. And the last session maybe 2 to 3 hours to end it up.
Oh, they have to spend a lot of time with you.
Yeah.
And how long does a tattoo, whether small one, large one, how long does it take to heal?
Oh, in general, big tattoo or colored tattoo, like colored blocks tattoo, they might take 30 to 45 days to heal.
And during those 30 to 45 days, what can a person not do?
Not do. Don't drink in the first couple days, and don't expose under the sun for a month because it will like go dark.
And then it will be permanently dark.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that would not be good. What are some of the designs that you think are going to be popular in the next 6 months or a year in 2021? What do you think people are going to be coming in and asking for? For example, Donald Trump just lost the election. Are people going to come in and say, "Could I get a Joe Biden tattoo or a Kamala Harris tattoo?"
No, actually no. Well, I would like to know what kind of tattoo will be popular in the next few months, but no.
There's no way to predict.
I think in Taiwan we have different artists that make different style of tattoo flash. So, but this year I think animation tattoo will be the most popular, or like people always talk about it. So I think animation tattoo will be popular in the next few months too.
You mentioned this year, of course, it was the COVID-19. Was there any effect on how you do the tattoo work? I mean, did you start wearing like a big plastic face mask? You know, like those really long, big face masks that sometimes people, not the little cloth one covering the mouth and the nose, but did you have the really big one?
No. During these couple months, we always wear a mask.
Which kind of mask? Just a standard?
Yeah, standard. And we use a lot of sanitizer. And our client only can come along without any company.
Wow, people usually want to bring company to get, why? They're scared? They want to hold someone's hand while they're getting tattooed?
Well, some of them, yeah, but some of them just like friends, want to be friends together to see how their tattoo is done.
Okay. Well, we're almost out of time, Hazel. What's one thing you want to tell the audience about getting tattoos? You know, something that people should think about, keep in mind, or maybe they want one but they can't really decide yet. And what's something you could tell them to help them make that decision?
I think once you have a consultation with your tattoo artist, or you have decided what you want for your tattoos, don't ask any other's opinion.
Don't ask your friends. Talk to the expert.
Yeah.
Talk to you.
Ask yourself. Because it's your skin and it's gonna be on you forever.
Unless you could get it covered up, right?
Yeah.
Thank you. That was such a great message to tell people who are thinking about tattoos. Hazel, how could people find you on the internet if they want to make a booking to come see you?
I'm on Facebook and Instagram. You can just type Chowder Ink. You will find me.
Chowder Ink, like chowder, like clam chowder,
yeah,
right?
Clam chowder.
Yeah, okay. Chowder Ink. That's where you can find Hazel, the tattoo artist, one of Taipei's up-and-coming tattoo artists. Hazel, thank you so much for coming to the show.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Residence Messenger on Taipei Broadcasting Station.